Europe, China, Tzu Chi volunteers visit residents in Sichuan province to understand their needs before the winter aid distributions. Europe, Tzu Chi volunteers hold 2 year-end blessing ceremonies at a community center in St. Felix, Italy. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. In China, prior to the upcoming winter aid distribution, Tzu Chi volunteers went to Lushan County of Sichuan to survey the needs of local residents. As the upcoming aid distribution will focus on helping the disabled, old and sick, the volunteers visited 309 households to better learn of their needs in order to get adequate relief items ready.
Stacked with boxes of biscuits and candies, this small room is where Ji Huayun does his grocery business following his paralysis.
The daily income of this small shop is only maybe $2 to $3, $5 at best.
No matter how little he earns a day, Ji is satisfied with what he has. Like Ji Huayun, Le Yangjun does his best to help the less fortunate regardless of his disability.
If one day I make it big and can make ends meet to support my family, I will ask the government to cancel my subsidies so that other low-income families will be able to get subsidies.
These residents of Sichuan's Lushan remains optimistic in the face of their difficult lives. At the end of this year, Tzu Chi volunteers will organize a winter aid distribution to help some 300 needy households in the community.
During these home visitations, we have surveyed the needs of the sick and disabled. Most of the families are not able to make ends meet. Therefore, Tzu Chi's blankets and clothing are really useful to help them get through the harsh winter.
Following their initial survey prior to the upcoming winter aid distribution, Tzu Chi volunteers will be back in a month with much needed relief items to help residents through the winter ahead.
Moving to Thailand, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to shower flood survivors with love by providing 2 hot meals a day in Chachoengsao province. Their efforts have inspired local residents to participate and give back to their community, like Jitira, who not only is helping with making the meals, but also brings her 10-year-old son to volunteer as well.
Here in Chachoengsao province, Thailand, the volunteers have been providing hot meals for the Chaosang district flood survivors since October 26th, and their efforts have moved many local residents like Jitira to join them.
I am so deeply moved that no words can describe how I feel. In my 30-something years, I have not seen an organization this sincere and thoughtful. I am truly touched, and I know my fellow people feel the same way too.
Thailand's Tzu Chi volunteers are providing 2 hot meals a day, and they have also asked Jitira to be a leader in assisting during home visitations. Heading into residential areas, the roads are still flooded. The residents have received other organizations' aid relief, but then another problem arises.
This is a deformed can that we received, so we have to be especially careful. We won't eat it because it's gone bad already.
Jitira is glad to have the opportunity to be able to help out fellow citizens. She also brought her 10-year-old son to help, and every day they volunteer at the service center.
Being with the volunteers every day, I feel touched at their generosity. It's hard to express in words how moved other residents and I are at all that the Tzu Chi volunteers have done for us. Their willingness to leave their house to help us. I live here locally. If I didn't come to shoulder some of the work, then I would feel very regretful.
The flood level is receding, and although her neighbors are starting to clean up their homes, Jitira, however, is following in Tzu Chi volunteers' footsteps and putting others' need before her own.
To help the sick and poor, Tzu Chi volunteers and TIMA members are holding free clinics worldwide. In the United States, Texas, Tzu Chi volunteers and the Texas Chinese Physicians Association team up to hold a free clinic for local residents. Meanwhile, Paraguay Tzu Chi volunteers visited the children of Carande village in Ciudad de Este, bringing aid supplies and offering free health check services.
In Paraguay, Tzu volunteers returned to visit the children of Carande village in Ciudad del Este. Looking at past photographs, it seems these children are growing up fast. The classrooms of the Tzu Elementary School are turned into a temporary clinic as doctors give the children a look over. The patients feel safe in these doctors' hands. The volunteers also brought along aid supplies, making sure these villagers are taken care of. Meanwhile, in the United States, a Tzu free clinic was held in conjunction with the Texas Chinese Physicians Association.
We are trying to help people, meaning that's why you're here, right? So when you see people come in, I'm not expecting to see you do this. Or to set aside? No, don't do that. I want you to be smile.
Texas team members were also joined by Tzu and other young volunteers.
Actually, I used to be a student for Tzu, and I have heard of their health clinics but never really attended one. This was my first year in attending one, and it is a great opportunity to get them, under some care at least.
I want to thank Dr. Lu Qingfang for helping Tzu to find 120 flu shots. I also want to thank Texas Tech and UTC Tzu for their help.
Although the two free clinics assisted different people, what they had in common was Tzu's love that works to safeguard the health of all those in need.
Just months away from the rollout of the new Affordable Care Act in the United States, medical experts are concerned that the growing medical needs will result in a shortage of medical personnel. Will there be sufficient doctors to still participate in free clinics then? To address this concern, the U.S. Tzu Medical Foundation has begun to train newly joined medical staff in hopes that they not only rediscover their passion for medicine, but also help the sick and suffering through their expertise.
What I'm most afraid of is living life without purpose. The two things that make me most depressed in life and unable to function is a life with no goals and loneliness. We all eventually die, but who has lived? Have you truly lived?
This is ER Dr. Zhang Bingdong from Hong Kong, who has rediscovered life's purpose through participating in Tzu's free clinics.
Just find out what's going on, then we can take care of it, okay? Yeah, okay.
I joined Tzu on a medical mission to Bolivia. It was in 2007. When I first met Tzu, I was taken aback by the organization. I feel that Tzu was a very big and efficient organization.
The devotion and selflessness of Tzu's medical team gradually moved Zhang, and he began to devote more and more time to Tzu's medical services. If he was not at home, he was on his way to the clinic.
My uniform is here. My other clothes have been here for more than a year, but they haven't been worn that many times. But they are always ironed perfectly and neatly.
Zhang's phone line is always open for patients in need of a consultation.
Hello, how are you? Okay, listen to me. Don't panic. The medication you are taking isn't for anything serious, so don't worry, alright?
Meanwhile, experienced team of doctors have also become an important pillar of support for Tzu's medical missions.
When we treat a patient and their condition improves, it really makes me happy. This happiness stays inside of me, and it makes me want to do more.
On the eve of the implementation of the new Healthcare Act, Du predicts that patients will not only expect better quality care, but there will also be more patients and fewer doctors. The American Medical Association predicts that by 2015, the United States will be short of some 63,000 doctors. By then, will local NGOs have sufficient manpower to continue these free clinics?
For our medical team, seeing more patients means that we can take care of the well-being of more people. This is what Mr. Zheng Yan wants us to do.
Tzuji's clinical services have long opened their doors to members of the public, offering free medical services while treating patients with fairness and equality.
At Tzuji's clinics, there are doctors who are specialists in their fields and therefore can provide residents with very good treatment. Unlike in the emergency room, here they can avoid having to wait in long queues.
More than 30 million people will receive health insurance coverage following the rollout of the Affordable Care Act, and thus will require the commitment of more willing doctors to accommodate the growing needs of the public. This period will also be one of the most challenging chapters of the US Tzuji Medical Foundation as it enters its third decade of service.
It has been more than a year since North Italy was struck by a strong quake, and in that time, Tzuji volunteers from Germany and France have continued to care for the quake survivors. Recently, two Tzuji year-end blessing ceremonies were held at St. Felix and were joined by more than 800 residents. Today, Europe Tzuji volunteers are holding two year-end blessing ceremonies inside these temporary community centers in St. Felix. This time, the Tzuji year-end blessing ceremonies were organized by volunteers from Germany, France, and Italy. With the city government providing transportation to the venue, the blessing ceremonies were joined by local residents as well as those living in Finale, Emilia, and Bondeno.
I rappresentanti della Fondazione Tzuji.
In the aftermath of the devastating earthquake last May, Tzuji volunteers arrived in the disaster zone in July to conduct a disaster assessment. In December of the same year, the volunteers organized a winter aid distribution. With the help of entrepreneur Claudio Sabatini, the mayor of St. Felix happily joins the year-end blessing ceremonies.
Grazie a te, intanto io ti consegno questo libro.
Upon learning that the wisdom and blessing red envelopes came all the way from Taiwan, many expressed their amazement and gratitude. In a video clip, Master Zhen Yan also offers her blessings and words of encouragement. Moved by the Master's kind words, many quake survivors can't help but shed tears of gratitude. Meanwhile, Tzuji volunteers also arrived at a local school in Finale, Emilia, to distribute tuition subsidies. As this area was also hard hit by last year's quake, many students were forced to study elsewhere. With no means to cover the transportation costs and lunch fees, Tzuji's timely assistance is a godsend for many of the quake survivors. To express his gratitude to the volunteers, a boy presents them with a handmade card. Praying sincerely as a group, at this moment, everyone is one big family. With Tzuji volunteers by their side, these quake survivors have regained the strength to move on and now look forward to a brighter future. To allow the children of Zamboanga in the Philippines to return to school as soon as possible, Central Taiwan Tzuji volunteers have been working tirelessly at the Tzuji Holy Liaison Office to complete the prefabricated classrooms. Among them are volunteers who contributed their skills and expertise in this project and senior volunteers who seized the opportunity to help out.
Whether it's taking a measurement or cutting the building materials, each process is checked thoroughly and done to perfection, as Tzuji volunteers hope to extend their blessings to the Philippines.
Our team leader told me that they need professional help here, so I set my job aside and came to help out.
Many volunteers contributed their professional skills and expertise to this project, just like Chen Fuchen, who has 50 years of experience in ironwork.
I'm very happy to be a part of this project. Given this opportunity, we should make the best of it.
Chen leads the other volunteers to fit additional accessories at the factory. 80-year-old Liu Jitun set aside his work on the farm to come offer his assistance.
I attended all of the Project Hope construction work, but since I don't have time to go to the Philippines, this is a great opportunity for me to contribute.
The owner of the building material factory, Wang Yufen, comes from a Buddhist family. Not only did she provide her venue free of charge, she also offered a hydraulic machine for the volunteers to use.
We also want to contribute and let our staff be a part of something great.
Joining hands in doing good deeds, this love will surely reach the hearts of those students in Zamboanga of the Philippines.
5 months ago, Tzu Chi Shaman care recipient Yang Xiaodong arrived in Hualien, Taiwan to receive spinal correction surgery. After undergoing 5 successful surgeries and intensive rehabilitation, Yang is able to stand upright once again. In our next report, let's learn more about Xiaodong's rehabilitation process. Standing on a balance board with the help of a physical therapist, Yang Xiaodong learns to improve his eye-hand coordination.
When Xiaodong throws the ball, he needs to move his legs, hands, and shoulders. It is not an easy task for him. When he throws the ball up high, he needs to reach up to catch it. This will improve his muscle strength.
The road to recovery is not an easy one for Yang Xiaodong. After undergoing 5 major surgeries, Yang Xiaodong has to continue with his rehabilitation to further adjust the curvature of his hip and knees.
We want to train his back muscles, hip and legs. He is improving.
Despite the pain that comes with the rehab, Xiaodong is undeterred. To push himself past the pain, Xiaodong will sing the song to enlighten the world to himself. Riding on a stationary bicycle and walking slowly on a treadmill, Yang knows that these exercises will help him stand firm on his own 2 feet in the future.
It is possible that Xiaodong will be able to stand upright without using a cane. We know that he needs to continue working on his muscles.
Thanks to the love and care of Tzu Chi volunteers and medical staff, Yang Xiaodong has slowly put the past behind him and now happily embraces the world around him. During his stay at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, Yang performs for other patients during a tea party. With the encouragement of Tzu Chi volunteers, Yang gets some hands-on experience as sorting recyclables. He hopes to become a recycling volunteer when he returns to Xiamen.
I'm learning how to sort recyclables. I think practicing recycling is great.
Seeing Yang Xiaodong's determination to stand upright again, Xiamen Tzu Chi volunteers say that they will continue to provide this family with love and care.
We hope to have a team of volunteers that can continue to care for Xiaodong. Every day, we will have volunteers accompany Xiaodong to the hospital for rehabilitation. We hope to make him feel at home.
Visiting Tzu Chi's spiritual home once again, this time Xiaodong insists on walking into the Jingsi abode on his own 2 feet. After 5 months of treatment, Yang has not only regained his health, but also his confidence. Master Jingyan takes a moment to offer Xiaodong some words of encouragement. Although for Yang Xiaodong, there is still a long road to recovery. With the encouragement and blessings from countless people, he's ready to embrace his new life with chin up and chest high. Next, we meet an engineer Xu Zhentang, who's originally from Taishi, Zhanghua County, with Taishi village situated a creek away from the 6 knapsack cracking plant. Many villagers have passed away due to cancer. Knowing that nothing is permanent, Xu began to take photos of his neighbors and hometown since high school in hopes of documenting the changes his village has and will continue to go through.
He passed away, he's gone too, so is this one. This man is not well, and this one has passed on too.
More than a decade ago, photographer Xu Zhentang took this photo of the seniors in his village who were coming together to make an appeal to the local government.
Each one of them were all dressed up with their shoes shined and polished. Everyone put on their best outfit because they were serious and felt a part of what was about to happen. They made sure they were neatly dressed to go out.
Believing that photography is about documenting history, since high school, she has been recording the happenings in his village.
When I was free at home, sometimes I would get phone calls. A neighbor would say, "Ah Tang, come help me fix something." When I went over, I would take my camera with me.
李丽，你刚刚有没有去上课？有没有去那个活动中心？有啊有啊哦，有啊有啊，过来不搞，哎。
Over the years, Xu has made many friends in his village. However, there was one veteran who didn't like Xu taking photos of him, thus the photographer only captured an image of him from the back.
When he passed away, he had $1 million of savings. He had set aside 70,000 NT dollars for his funeral arrangement and handed the rest of the money back to the government.
随着时间的漂移，最后剩老伙仔2个老的。
Xu Zhentang's hometown of Taixi village in Daceng Township is situated at Zhanghua southwest border. To the south is 6 naphtha cracking plant, and to the north a petrochemical plant which luckily was not built. Xu's photos portray the lives of these residents and the hardships they have endured.
Our villagers often said if anyone wants their photos, they just have to come to me. They joked and told me to take photos so that they can use them when they pass on. I was sad to hear them say that.
Having witnessed the changes of his hometown over the past 2 decades, Xu hopes through his photos to not only record the history, but also make a difference to the society he lives in.
We are concerned about what's going on in our daily lives. In my many years of photography, I haven't traveled anywhere. Many photographers will travel mountains and rivers to shoot, but I haven't.
Though working as an engineer in Taoyuan, Xu Zhentang returns home every weekend to continue his work in recording the happenings in Taixi village. For Xu, it is not a mission handed to him, but a promise he made to himself.
Someday, this village will become a different place. Residents will pass on, and I will grow old. I think the best thing about photography is that when a problem is discovered, the images we record will prompt the government to make a change. Through the power of photography and filming, we are documenting our own lives.
We go back to China at the end of the show. Since the establishment of the Tzu Suzhou Health Promotion Center, he has continued to safeguard the health of residents living in Gucheng District. Despite the language barrier, the new superintendent Lin Youshen's sense of humor and smiles have warmed the hearts of his patients. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.